Good morning. Day 101 of Turtle Lane Tidbits. Sonny Mazer here in the greenhouse. The topic today is grudges. Now, most of us probably still carry lots of grudges, not even knowing. Some we are consciously aware of. These grudges, or rocks of negative energy, weigh us down. They are like holding poison in our body. And for human reasons, we tend to go over and over and over and remind us. And when we see this person or this situation or even a place or a smell can remind us of things, to hold on to negative energy is like drinking poison. It's not always easy to move through this, but it's even harder to hold on to it. So we always have choices. I talk a lot about options and knowing your options. Without being aware that you have an option, people will just automatically flow back to the same place without thinking on robotic patterns, whether it's comfortable or not comfortable, move back to that space. When you pay attention, when you bring your awareness to how you're feeling, do you want to continue this? Now, sometimes people think they really do. They're like, I want to continue this anger. I want to continue this grudge. And if that's where you are, then that's where you are. And you'll stay there till you're ready to move. However, life is fragile. And we only have so much time to do all the things we want to do. And we only have so much room in our body to hold emotions and things. And if some of your space is being held up by grudge and negative energy and anger, that's a choice. But if you allow that out and you let that go free, then you have more room to live your life in a love-based way, to live your life in a communication way, to live your life in a connected way, a creative way, a way you want to move forward instead of being held prisoner by an event, by a person, by a situation. So know you have choices. You're not imprisoned. You may be facing 3 walls, but turn around. There's a door out. There's always a way. There's always an option. Don't hold on to these grudges and the anger. They will kill you in the end and make the journey even harder. So think about what your options are and how to move forward with greater ease. I hope that's helpful. Namaste. Good morning. Day 102 of Turtle Lane Tidbits. Sonny Mazer here in the greenhouse. The topic today is connecting. So I would say that one of my superpowers is connecting people to situations, other people, new places, and themselves. I love when I listen to someone about what they're looking for or what's going on to say, oh my God, I have this great painter. He's awesome. Let me connect you with this. I have this perfect place to do that. Go here and get that. I have this, whatever it is that people are looking for. If I know somebody who also does this or is great at this, then I want to connect great people with great people with great places, whatever it is, and create bigger circles. So I'm going to invite you to think about, as you connect with other people and listen, and really listen, how is it you can serve in making greater connections for people so that more people can share their magic? Because each one of us have different magic, and we bring our magic to the game, which is different than somebody else's. Connecting those people creates more magic, creates more beauty, vibrates higher. So think about, as you move through the day, either asking, hey, I'm looking for somebody to help me with this. I'm building a deck. Does anybody know a great architect, right? I want to create X. but I don't know how to. I don't even know how to get started. Do you have any ideas? Everybody has all these different connections. And the truth is we're like a connection away from what it is we want to bring in. Our connection away here, us connecting to us. This time is a great connecting time. Connect with yourself and others and share the resources. This is a new dawn, right? It's a new time. Our world is changing drastically. How are you going to move forward in that change? What new bridges can you build? What new connections can you make? What new things can you build? It's a creative time. So think about, how can you make these connections stronger, greater, bigger, vaster, wider with a beautiful foundation? I hope that's helpful. Have a great day. Namaste. Good morning. Day 103 of Turtle Lane Tidbits. Sonny Mazer here in the greenhouse. Today the topic is grief and loss. So there has been an enormous amount of grief and loss. Seems to be on steroids during COVID with all the physical losses of friends and family members that are passing. And then just lately, there seems to be many people who have passed. And so I'm holding space for lots of people. And I wanted to share some potential helpful things for all of us. All of us are probably going through loss just because of COVID and things we can't do and things we're not participating in and things we're not going to be able to go to. So I will, after this post, will also share a couple of posts, some essential oils. One of my favorite mentors did recently YouTube on grief and loss and the 5 stages and some oils that will help us move through that. Now, some of us will not want this immediately because it's a new loss and it's a very fresh loss. So going through loss, first of all, I want to say is very personal and individual. Please give yourself space if you're the one going through loss, or if you're with others who are going through loss, give them space. It's very individual. People say a lot of crazy things to other people at funerals, at wakes, at times when it's almost better just to be there. So I invite you to really think about if you need to say anything other than, I'm so sorry for your loss, I'm here for you. Saying things like, well, at least you have other children, or you will get through this in time. When people are going through this, that's not helpful. Keeping your mouth closed and just being there with love is way more helpful. Now, I know you don't know what to say a lot of times and you just want to say things to fill the space. Again, just be there. I would say hug them, but right now we can't even hug people. So we have to just hug them with our energy. Be there with our energy, but you can tell them, you can text them, you can say to them, I'm here. Also asking them, what can I do for you? Puts it on them. Most people going through massive loss can't think. They can't even do that. So try not to throw your stuff onto other people. Just be there, hold the space, love them. Bringing food sometimes is helpful, or you can ask, can I bring food to you? Just be mindful of what you're saying, and if it's really out of your nerves, because it's not needed. Just being there and loving them and letting them know you're there. I hope this is helpful. Before I say have a great day, I am going to post a couple other things in regard to loss and grief, and if you have any people who you're holding going through this, you might want to share this, or if you need some support, I'm here as well. So I hope you have a great day. Namaste. Good morning. Day 104 of Turtle Lane Tidbits. This is Sonny Mazer here at the beach house. The topic today is keeping cool when things get hot. So probably about a month ago, on a Sunday, we were packing up from the beach house to head home Jim was heading out ahead of me. My sister and I were hanging out for a little bit longer and then gonna head out and go our different ways home. And I just thought, I'm going outside, might as well throw some things in the car. So unknowingly, my keys were in a jacket, and I put these jackets in the car and must have pushed on the jacket, and the car locked, and I shut the door, not even knowing it. So later, I was going out, and I was gonna just put something in the car. I never check. I just opened the door, and it didn't open, and I was like, that's funny. So I'm like, wow, where are my keys? And I was backtracking in my head, and I was like, oh no. And they were locked in the car. Now, my typical stance would be to blow a gasket and just lose my cool. Be like, how could I do that? And start the, oh my God, how stupid. How could I do that? I always leave my keys in a certain place, blah, blah, blah. And so I actually paused for a moment and thought, took a deep breath. I told Jim, I told Marcy, and it was probably like one of those really hot days, steamer outside. Luckily, the animals were not in the car. And we literally tried to figure out, what are we gonna do? And so I did not call AAA right off the bat. This is gonna sound like an infomercial for AAA because I should have called them right off the bat. So we brainstormed, we called the place where the car is from, because I think you can call and they can click and open your car, but that didn't work, and that I was on 3 phones. We were working 3 phones at the same time. Was calm, just breathing. I have to say, staying calm when things are really hot is a crucial thing to do. But also I want to say it depends who your team is and who's around you. I happen to be supported that time with really positive, don't worry about it, we're going to get this. Yeah, we're going to be delayed, but it's okay. And truthfully, by the time we called AAA and 20 minutes later, the guy was here, popped the lock, and in we got. So all in all, it was not that big of a deal. It could have been, but it really went smoothly. So the point to this whole thing is trying to stay calm when you could blow a gasket. You could get angry and waste all this energy on all these unnecessary things, but staying focused. What do you need? What do you want? What will help in this certain situation? So in this situation, it was AAA, and they saved the day. He came literally less than 3 minutes later. He popped it, and it was just like, And then I didn't trust my car anymore because I don't know how it locked with the keys in the car, but now I'm always aware of where my keys are all the time before I shut a door. So just saying, staying calm, having the awareness to take a moment, and have a good team around you. And if it's just you solo, then you can do this. You can support yourself from a calm, cool, collected place and get what you need done. I hope this is helpful. Have a great day. Namaste. Good morning. Today is day 105 of Turtle Lane Tidbits. Sonny Mazer here at the beach house. The topic today is the heart. Now, science says the first sign of life is the heartbeat, as well as our last moment here is your last breath, but it's also when your heart stops. So basically, everything is based on the heart. Can you imagine if we actually lived life from a heart-centered space, how filled with compassion and love and different our lives and world would be? I invite you to pause and think about your heart. Think about love. For some of us, that brings up a lot of pain. For others of us at this moment, your heart may be full. You may be overflowing, feeling so alive, like you're 20. Maybe you are 20. Maybe you're 18. I've had a lot of conversations with 18-year-olds lately, and also a newly 21-year-old feeling so full of love and life. as well as people in their 50s and 60s, 70s, 80s too, who are heartbroken with what's going on in the world, or having just lost someone or some people. But move to your heart, and that is a place that can expand and contract almost like no other part of our body and survive. Living from this space is a completely different experience. You always have the option to see what it feels like to live from a heart-based space, to have compassion, to be filled with unconditional love. And it's a process, it's a flow, right? Things happen, we are affected by our environment, by our family, by our connections, by ourselves, by nature. And we have options. So continually checking in. First off, starting your day with loving yourself, and what does that look like? And what does it sound like? And can you even say, I love you to yourself? And how many times a day do you say I love you to others? On the phone, on a Zoom, in person. Think about it, and think about how it makes it feel to you when someone says that. So as we move forward on this day, come centered to your heart and connect into the love you have and share. Hope that's helpful. Namaste. Good morning. Day 106 of Turtle Lane Tidbits. Sonny Mazer here. The topic today is what version of you is available to you and others. So I was talking with a dear friend the other day, and we were talking about a relationship of the past, and we're saying how it would be great if we could talk with this person and explain things a little different. And through this conversation, we realized that this other person is no longer who they used to be. And truthfully, neither are we. That it's been months and months since we've connected, and there are many things that we have no idea what's going on in their life, and they have no idea what's going on in our life. And so let's just say, for simplicity versions, we were version 2.0. And now many things have happened, right? There's been the pandemic, there's been individual things, there's been world things. People are at a new version completely, almost probably 4, 5, 6, 7 different steps. And we expect that the other person who we're talking with or want to share things with is still at that same version of themselves, but they're not. So when we connect with people, we have to remember that things are always changing, that we're always changing, that we're not the person we were before, and that when we want to talk about something from the past, we're not that version. It's not available. So in order to connect, we have to connect now and watch what our words are and watch what roles we play in the connection, and think about where do we want to be in order to connect better. And maybe the connection isn't there anymore because it's not the same. And there also is a possibility of a new connection. However, we're all in different places. This may be too abstract. I don't know if this is hitting anybody as you hear it. But the message I'm trying to send is sometimes we can't continue those old connections because they're not even available. So paying attention to who you are now, what you need now, how you want to communicate with people now, and centering from that point and talking from that point. Sometimes people can understand you, and sometimes they can't. Sometimes it's completely different languages. Still trying to stay in an even, balanced, compassionate place. Share with your team. Allow them to hold you. Move through it. Talk it out. Also, listen it out and quiet it out. Meditate. I hope this is helpful and not too crazy a thought. If you need any help deciphering it, I'm here. Have a great day. Namaste. Good morning. Day 107 of Turtle Lane Tidbits. Sonny Mazer here in the greenhouse. The topic today is energetic hygiene. Yesterday, I was listening to a podcast that's a once-a-week podcast. I love her, Helen Jacobs, The Guided Collective. Check it out if you haven't heard it before. And she was talking about self-care and taking care of your body. And from an energy perspective, what can you do to keep yourself clear and centered and balanced and grounded, especially in such a very unusual time in the world, but also truthfully every day for you. And so most of us each morning and every night, we brush our teeth, right? It's one of the first things we do in the morning and one of the last things we do at night. And then either every 4 months, every 6 months, once a year is not really enough, but some people go once a year to the dentist to get a professional cleaning job. So from an energetic perspective, taking care of our being, our body, our soul also needs to be attended to on a daily basis. So what can you do to help yourself stay more centered, more grounded, more cleared? We've talked about lots of things all along. Meditating is a huge one. Journaling, active listening to yourself, checking in, right? Have a daily check-in with yourself. How am I doing? What's going on? Is my body talking to me in any way? Are there any things that are coming right to the forefront that need attention and to be addressed? Also, going to see a professional, whether it's a Reiki person, an acupuncturist, a massage person, taking care of your being as well. I mean, I go every other week to energy work, and I go for acupuncture once a month for maintenance, to keep me clear, to keep me clean, to keep things flowing so that I can continue to be, live, do, love at the level that I want to. So think about what you're doing every day. We can't just let things go until we're in crisis mode, though that is the typical norm for most people, but it doesn't have to be. You have options. You have ways to move through with so much greater ease. Know your options. Play. Play is a big one. Also play with different tools to see what works for you and to see how it helps you move with greater ease. I hope that's helpful. Have a great day. Namaste. Good morning. Day 108 of Turtle Lane Tidbits. Sonny Mazer here in the greenhouse. The topic today is stories in our heads. So I don't know how many of you make things up in your head about certain situations, certain people, what happened, what's going to happen, what is happening, and it's all in your head. These stories drain us of energy most of the time. They're based on fears and inconclusive evidence. So I'm going to invite you to pay attention to the stories that you're running in your head. Are they old self-limiting beliefs? Are they based on fears of, I can't do this, I'm not worthy of this, I'm not lovable, I'm no way I'm smart enough, no way I'm strong enough, no way, no way, no way. These stories are vampires. These words suck the life out of you. Start paying attention consciously what's going on in your mind. Now, our mind thinks there's no way to put the pause button on for all the time and just not have something happening. Meditation is an option to kind of calm the mind down and bring more peace and balance, which I highly recommend. And your mind has a job, and it's always thinking, and it's always making suggestions, and there's always a commentary going on. So what are we going to do with this? We need to change it. If you have a very active mind, pay attention to these stories. And you can also train your mind to think positive, to be empowering, to be supportive, and to ask yourself, do I know this? Is this for sure, for certain, for real, in reality? Or am I making up a story? Most of the time we just make up stories. This is not helpful because it pulls you off center, it brings you off focus, and you end up spinning like in the side of a river in an eddy, which gets you nowhere. So pay attention to what you're focusing on, where your mind's going, and ask yourself, is this helpful? Is this moving me forward where I want to be? And if it's not, bring in some tools to switch lanes, to switch gears, to move onto a different space. You have options. There are so many options for you. Work with yourself, not against yourself. That's it for today. Hope that's helpful. Have a great day. Namaste. Good morning. Day 109 of Turtle Lane Tidbits. Sonny Mazer here in the greenhouse. Today's topic is open listening. So this would be listening without judgment. Listening with truly being present. Listening without having wishes for the person who's talking or sharing with you. This is not our typical listening, especially when it's something or somebody that we care about or are passionate about. In particular, when we're having one-on-one conversations with someone and they are sharing things that are close to their heart or near or dear to them. We often have wishes for other people. We want things to be a certain way for other people. I'm going to float to you or invite you actually to sit back and just hold sacred space for someone else to come to you and to share, or for you to go to somebody else and share. We all know what it's like when we're sharing and someone else starts chiming in, you know what I think you should do? Or you know what you really need to do? Or you know what the best decision is? And we all kind of go, oh, why'd I even share with them? So a couple of great questions to ask when someone is sharing with you. Number one, you can ask this at the end. Try to keep your mouth closed while people are sharing. And at the end, you can say, do you want feedback or were you just looking to share? That helps you take a break and not dive right in, because people aren't looking to be fixed. They're not looking for you to always solve the problem. They just want someone to talk to hear them, to see them, to love them, to be there holding them. So most of us want to jump in and fix and do, and for lots of different reasons, we take on this role. However, that's not really what people or what we want. So listening without judgment, catching yourself. This is not about you. This is about them. And just being present. Try it. It's not so easy, especially when your kids are telling you something, or your spouse or your partner or someone in your family or someone at work, because we often want them to do things a certain way or have things work out, but that's none of our business. So check in. How's that listening going? Where's the judge card? Toss it out. Just be present. Wholeheartedly connect and listen. Give it a whirl. Hope you have a great day. Namaste. Good morning. Day 110 of Turtle Lane Tidbits. Sonny Mazer here. The topic today is silence. But silence in regard to relationships, because silence in regard to itself is really a beautiful place to be, but we'll talk about that another time. But silence in regard to relationships. Now, I'm bringing this up because I have a lot of people who have come to me this week and saying that their partner, their spouse, their business partner, their friend is just shut down and won't communicate what's going on. So we're going to talk a little bit about communication and showing up. And so when you're in a relationship, in a healthy, mature adult relationship, there's communication that goes on both ways. When one person reaches out nonstop to discuss, to share, to talk, and the other one just listens and doesn't share, doesn't have any input, doesn't share emotions, opinions, then this is incredibly unbalanced. Now, lots of people process differently, right? We're all different, and we do things differently within us, and that part needs to be respected. However, when the processing is truly a silence, and I'm going to freeze you out, you need to pay attention. That's a red flag. That's a massive pause. Take note. That's not a relationship. Silencing, freezing, ghosting, these are unhealthy, unhelpful, very big signs of giant issues that need to be dealt with. Each person has to deal with their own, and yet when you're in a relationship, it does affect others. So pay attention. What is it you need to work on? We all have stuff we have to work on, right? There isn't anybody who's alive who doesn't have things to work on. We've gone through things, and we get stuck in different places, or we have triggers. But freezing out your partner, not okay. It's not okay. You may need to go talk with someone else. That's great before you come back, but tell them, I got to work on this, and I'm coming back. To just completely freeze them out or go silent is really basically immature, and just showing that you have things to work on. So pay attention to when you go silent, and if you need silence or space, share that. That's all. Come together in a place to say that, and then come back when you're ready. Don't let silence be filled with toxicity. I hope that's helpful. Have a great day. Namaste.